Had I been a fool all these years that you've now had to introduce foolproofing, because I don't see myself as a fool. So they changed the name to procariocate, which means mistake proofing. And a simple thing that I could give just one example. There's hundreds of examples I could give you. I just give you one. And what they did in this particular case is, as the seat was coming down the line, there were boxes where they had left-hand parts and right-hand parts, and they put lids on the boxes. And as the left-hand seat passed a sensor, it opened the left-hand boxes. So she could no longer take parts out of the right-hand box. She was forced to put the right part onto the right part. And as a result, that's what we call mistake proofing. And it's only when you introduce a number of things like mistake proofing that you get total zero defect quality. And when you get to that stage, then managing quality becomes such that my wife has a Corolla and nothing goes wrong. And I mean nothing goes wrong. That is difficult. That's difficult. But it can be done. And you can do it too in your company. So I'd like you to have a look now, please. What level do you think you are at in your company on quality as your customer will judge it? And secondly, is there anything in what I've said so far that you can use in your company from what I've said? Have a look at that now and tell your partner what you think. Net profit margin, that means you have to spend $100 worth or 1,000 ringgits worth to make 100 ringgits of profit. But if you make 100 ringgits of savings, you get to keep it all. It all falls on the bottom line. And one of the reasons that in the UK and the US that the Japanese have been able to export products right across the world to us at a level cheaper than we can make it ourselves is because they worked hard on eliminating waste. And there's plenty of it, believe me, as you will see in a moment. So, we go one step further, first of all, eliminating waste. When I talk to businesses about, well, let's sit down for a couple of days and we'll talk about where we want to take the business. Well, we haven't got time to take 2 days out of the business. We can't do that. Yeah, we've got this to do, and we're so busy at the moment, the place will fall apart if we were here for 2 days. We could do it on the weekend, we can't do it during the week. When I do that, I know I'm in a level 1 company. Then they've not got time to take stock of where they are and where they want to go as a business. It's because they're rushing too hard, because they're not putting enough things to bed, they're frantically working to keep ointment on wounds that they've got, and they never sit down and decide how can we stop all this rushing around. Now, this is a Japanese list, and it's called Muda in Japanese, and the 7 things they see are, first of all, making mistakes. Now, this happens in offices even more than it happens in manufacturing companies, and it means doing things twice, or doing things 3 times, or sending it back for a review or a re-report. It's rework. When we were working with China companies in the UK, they thought it was all right to sell seconds. Do you sell seconds in Malaysia where the product hasn't been made quite well the first time with some defect but you get it cheaper? That sort of thing? Well, we call that seconds in the pottery industry, and we used to make something like 15% of the product was seconds. And we decided we are not going to make seconds anymore. We're just not going to make seconds. If we've always made seconds, we're not going to make seconds anymore. Because all it does is get a lower price from the product, but the cost is the same. So please don't think that doing it not right is okay. It is not okay. And when it comes to duplication and double handling, very simple example, from the Bank of England, when they were printing banknotes, very secure operation, as you can imagine. And when they put the banknotes away, they put them in cages about this size. And the cages are very fine wire on the cages, so you can see the notes in there, but you can't put a pencil in and twirl it around and bring a £50 note out and put it in the back pocket. Now, every evening, half an hour before the end of the time, they take these cages, each with about £2 million worth of notes in, and they handle them along to the vaults, to put them in the vaults. And in the morning, they took another half hour to bring them right back out again. It didn't do anything to the product at all. It didn't change the product at all. It didn't add any value at all. It's all waste. It's all cost and it's all waste. But because they've always done it, they don't see themselves doing it. And when we find going into companies, we can see waste everywhere we look. Now, waiting and delay, taking the bank as an example, waiting for signatures was a great thing. Do you ever wait for signatures in your companies? Of course not. And the idea about signatures, as you'll see in a moment, is that you can trust the person whose signature is on the form, but you can't trust the person who produced the form. That's what it means. You can only trust the person who's putting the signature on there. But when we find that when we give people responsibility, and if they don't have signatures, they act more responsibly than they did before. When we give them more responsibility, we find they act more responsibly. So one of the ways we get around waiting and delay is to look at, is there a value in waiting? And most of the time, there's no value in waiting. So anytime we've waited in the process, we look to eliminate it completely. That's part of getting rid of waste in the world-class process. Don't move things around. Don't overproduce. We work for a company that makes hair care products. Huge company, American. And we would take batches of product and put it in the store, and hopefully we'll sell it. And when we walk around the stores, there was lots of products that were still not being sold. Oh, we still make the stuff. We don't make it anymore because we don't sell it anymore. Oh, why have we got it in the store? Well, that was just the excess, and we just keep it here. And we looked down the store, and 25% of the products were no longer in use. They were no longer being sold. But they were heating the warehouse to keep the product at the right temperature. And nobody ever went down the store to see what was in there. Now, you may think this is unusual. No, I've been telling you it's commonplace when we go into companies to see overproduction and overstocking. And these are the mistakes that we put on our waste glasses. I don't know if you have them here, but we have in the UK, and we certainly have it in the US, hypnotists. Yeah? And we will tell the subjects that we want you to, every moment you're going to have translucent glasses, and you won't be able to see people without their clothes on. Then we put the glasses on. So they put the glasses on, they say, okay, have a look at this person, and they go, and they start laughing as if this person was naked. Now, it's just like that with waste glasses. Once you put them on, you can say, oh, goodness me, look at all that waste over there, waiting for signatures, stuff that we will not use anymore. I mean, give a pair of waste glasses to individuals in the office or in the factory, they begin to see waste everywhere. Now, part of the way we identify waste is to use a thing called process mapping. Because most companies have complicated step-by-step processes, and we look at them using this form of process mapping. And the top one there is an operation, that little circle represents any value-adding step which moves the process forward. Transport is any step that moves objects or information or people. That's a transport step. A big D is anything which is an unplanned delay, either to materials or information or taking decisions. An inspection includes